to cut the names for the people that won. Or that entered my giveaway. That's awkward. So I'll just do that. Hey guys, I am here today to do my February wrap up. Finally, hopefully, you know, we started to pick things up, but we all know that I'm not on top of things. I'll just start off with the giveaway. So I do give away a copy of my favorite book of the month, and I had to rewatch my video from last month to see which one it was. And I am giving away a copy of Shoah, the first volume of Shoah, which is, I think, 1920 something to 1938, something like that. This is the first volume of Shoah, which is super, super interesting, graphic, like memoir and nonfiction. It's got both of those elements in it. So I'm just folding up the last couple of these little papers. So I've got all my papers with my names of the people that entered. And the winner is that one? No, that's two. Okay. Got my winner. Julia Lynn Ars. Oh, where's my camera? That's the wrong direction. Julia, you won! Congratulations! So just send me a message, a DM. My Instagram and my Twitter, I think, are both linked below, and my Goodreads are linked below, so you can send me a message on whatever platform you like. So congratulations! Whoop, 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 whoop! I hope you like it. All right, perfect. So let's get on with it then. So I will say that I also, for this video, filmed my book haul separately because this is so long ago. February was so long ago at this point. So I'll just go through the books and then tell you what book I'm giving away, and then show you my book haul, and then show you all the books that I'm unhauling, because again, I am going to be strict with myself. I'm very naughty. And then I'll go over like my movies and my bullet journal. So, hey guys, sorry. I actually forgot to mention really fast, a DNF. So I tried to participate in the Book Naturalist Club that Heidi and Doris put on. I will link it below. So I tried to read The Home Place by J. Drew Lanham, which is a memoir of his time with nature, whatever. And I 100% DNF'd this, and it was not my thing. So I did want to mention, if you live in the US and you're interested in my copy of the book, you are free to have it. I might have written in it a little bit or not. Mostly I just was bored while I was reading this. And I feel really bad. He just talks so much about the outdoors. I should not be surprised, since the group, like the reason that they're doing this is to read books about nature, which happens, surprise, surprise, outside. I'm not an outside person. I'm an inside person. And I just like could not relate to like anything that he was talking about. And then I was getting into it. It's split up into 3 different sections. It's like flight, flock, and I wrote that I was reading it for the Book Naturalist Club, but I don't know if I wrote when I DNF'd it. It's flock, fledgling, and flight. So the first, and they both, yeah. So it starts off and it's like, ooh, outside and more outside things. And then it starts to talk about his family. And then at that point I was interested and I was like getting hooked in to it, but I was still kind of on the fence. And then the second section started, so I started reading fledgling or whatever. And I just was like, not into it. I do think that the last section, like there's one, I should just read that. It's called Birding While Black, one chapter called Birding While Black, that I probably should read. But I don't know. I'm just like, I just don't want to read this. And I feel really bad. I'm going to link below if I can find. I'm sure Heidi and Doris both did reviews of it, so I'll link them below. and I think they both really, really liked it. And I think anytime I DNF a book, I like put it in a separate DNF folder. So I don't rate it, but I do write a little review about like why I DNF the book typically. And this book is just fine. There's nothing wrong with the book. It's just not a book for me. And so, yeah, it's just not for me. But again, yeah, so if you live in the US and you'd like me to send this to you, please let me know and I will do that. If there's more than one person that asks for it, I'll just do another little drawing per usual. Back to the rest of the video. My least favorite book of the month was Tiananmen 1989, Our Shattered Hopes. I did give this 3.5 stars. I had a really good reading month, so the rest of these books I actually really, really like. This is the only one that I was kind of like meh about. And I did already talk about this, so I will link below. If you click in the description box, I will link where I talked about the book. I just posted my China wrap up for the Invisible Cities project where I already talked about actually most of these books, so I don't really want to keep talking about them. This was fine. I think that I'm still 3.5. I'm still like, kind of think that that's too high of a rating. Anyways, so my next favorite book was How Long Till Black Future Month. Again, all the rest of these books I really, really liked. I think 4 or 4.5 are like the lowest ratings for all the rest of these books. So this is absolutely fantastic. I have read the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, and I love it. The second one, I think, the first one's probably my favorite in that series. Anyways, let's talk about this, I guess. So this is just a short story collection, and her brain is magic. I don't like, it's hard. I wish that I would like to start, reviewing short stories as I read them. I think Michael Michael reads, you guys know who I'm talking about, does that. But it's really hard to remember because there's so many different stories going on in this book. I either gave this 4 or 4.5. I don't remember. There's a lot of, maybe not a lot of, but there's like 1 or 2 that kind of remind me of the Broken Earth trilogy. So it makes me kind of curious, like if the short story came first and then, she expanded on that for the novels. I haven't read anything else by her, so I don't know like how closely the rest of the stories like resemble her other books. But I do want to read every single thing that she has written. I do think that her writing works super great in a short story format. I think there was just one story, I can't remember the name of it, where I was like a little bit confused because, she pushes you right into these worlds that she's creating. There's no hand holding. There's no like, oh, let me explain this and let me explain that. She does a really good job of just like pushing you in, and then you have to figure things out. So I think there's just one story that like it took me like a few pages to kind of figure out what was going on. And in a short story format, that is a little bit more challenging because there's less pages, but it still works just fine. So, just fine. It worked really well. She's fantastic. So I'm really pleased that I finally finished this. This is one of the books from my shame video that I finally finished. The next book that I have is The Disaster Tourist, which reminds me, this is translated. I'm so bad. Shoot. But the translator was hard for me to find. Edward Galvin, I'm not sure what nationality the person is or how to pronounce the name. I assume French, so that's why I said it like that. My next favorite book is The Disaster Tourist by Yoon Ko Eun, translated by Lizzie Bueller, and this was my Counterpoint Press book. So I have a full review of this book up on my channel, which I will link below. I will say that I just love this book so much. It's so good. Again, I don't want to be repetitive, so I'm not really going to talk about it. I would love it if you watched my review of the book. And I will say that I read the afterword in my review, and it's just like even thinking about it is going to make me cry again because we just really take for granted because we have so much available to us. Like we have access to almost everything, like at the tips of our fingers, especially like in the English speaking world. Like we have like so much, but things like this and like books that are from other countries that are not translated, like we're missing out on so much. So like we don't realize how much more there is to offer because we're so blinded is not the right word, but we're so distracted by all of the things that we do have access to, that we don't realize how valuable and important a translator is in order for us to be able to like experience another person's culture, another person's writing. Like the afterword, I think, in this is just like a beautiful love letter to translators, and just like I just loved it so much. It was like almost as good as the book. I think it was, oh, I love this so much. So my next book is Just Us by Claudia Rankine, and Just Us, an American Conversation. I have read, Citizen is the only other book by hers that I read, and I will say I did not like this as much as Citizen, and it's mostly just because I am not that smart. She is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is, it's also like really heavy, but it's basically, you know, multiple essays is not the right word, but it's a conversation about, you know, race in America. And a lot of the book has to do with her like approaching white people and asking them about, you know, their privilege. And there's like parts in here too where she is talking with her friends, and so they kind of like, you know, she has them speak to, so like they'll maybe read a section or something, and then they'll write like a little thing, and that is in here as well. And most of the book just takes place on one side, and then there's like supplemental material, I guess I would say, on the side of the page that is in reference to something on the text. So like it will be some kind of footnote, pictures, something that is kind of helping to like flesh out what she's saying more, and gives you context just in case you don't know, you know, what she's referencing in the material. So it's almost like a notes section, like that would be at the back, but also including other things like pictures and stuff. And yeah, it was really good. But again, I feel like I was in a class, like I feel like I was in an AP class and I just wasn't AP like material. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just, her thinking and her brain is just so incredible. So I definitely think this warrants a reread, maybe in a few years once I've, you know, experienced the world a little bit more. Oh, baby. Laverne's been meowing so much today. I would 100% recommend it though, because even though she speaks like just so well, and I feel like some of the times I was getting lost, I still think that it's like it's amazing to be able to like participate with her is not the right word, but it's just a gift to be able to read her writing, basically. Like I think that she is just one of the most brilliant people that is alive on the planet right now. And so I'm really grateful that I read this, and it really humbles you to read a book by someone so smart. It really humbles you. Okay, so the next book that I have is The Seventh Day by Yu Hua, and this is I translated by Alan H. Barr, and I also just talked about this in my China wrap-up, so I will link that like section below. I loved this book. This is, you know, just perfect. I feel like, you know, perfect. That's an exaggeration. Is anything perfect? No. But I really liked this, and I thought it was a great read, and I definitely want to read more by this author as well. Again, I just don't want to be repetitive, so if you didn't watch those videos, that's fine, but I'm just not going to talk about it right now. And my favorite book, the book that I'm giving away, is Ai Weiwei, Yours Truly. If you watched my China wrap-up, you'll probably understand why this is the one that I'm giving away. I just like think that this is so important and really makes you think. And yeah, I cried like a lunatic in that video talking about this, but I couldn't help myself because it's just so good and so important. So I will also link my portion of the video where I'm talking about this book so that you can watch that and decide if you would like to enter in my giveaway. My giveaway goes until I post my March wrap-up, so who knows? Hopefully in a couple of weeks. Hopefully in a week. Hopefully in a week. That would be nice. Okay, so those are the books that I read. I'm going to now insert a clip of my book haul. All right, so I'm going to do my book haul portion of my February video now. So I'm going to start with the two books that I received in my like subscriptions, the two subscriptions that I have. The first one is my Finney by Post subscription, and this is A Different Drummer by William Melvin Kelly, and this was published in 1962, and I don't really know anything else about this. So, you know, Deep South, young black farmer. Ooh, gosh, shoots his horse, burns his house, and heads north with his wife and child. Uh-oh. Okay, that sounds intense. So, yes, very excited about that. And then the other one is from my Literati subscription, and that is Game of the Gods by Paulo Marensig. I don't know. And this is translated by Anne Milano Apple. And I don't, okay, 1930s British India chess. That's all I got for you too. Sorry, those are books that I did not pick, so that's all I can say about them. Then Jake and I had our 10-year anniversary in February, and so part of our day ended up with us we ended up in a comic book shop, basically, and so he was very sweet and bought me Aya. This is a bind up of volumes 1 through 3, so I think there's a second book like this that's 4 through 6, I think. So I'm very, very excited about that. I'm hoping to read this next month, and I don't think that this is translated, but I wouldn't be able to tell you just based on a quick glance. I don't think so. So if it is, then I will tell you in the future, because I feel like this might, I don't know. But anyways, this is put out by Drawn and Quarterly. Sorry, I had a little brain issue. Then I have a couple of books for the Booktube Prize. Swimming in the Dark by Tomasz Hedrowski, and A Children's Bible by Lydia Millett. And I purchased them both. I pre-ordered them both in the month of January, and so they both showed up because they both were released in. Shirley, stop, baby, stop it. Can you stop with this ball? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so one of them I ordered from Blackwell's because the UK had a paperback edition before the US, and I didn't want to buy a hardcover if I didn't need to. So I bought a couple of these guys too, since I was in the mood. I'm still trying to get my hands on all of these. I'm just doing it kind of slowly. So I have Pew Sonling, Wailing Ghosts, and it's 7 through 9 are the ones that I ordered. Shirley, baby, please. And this is translated by John Minford. And then the 3 Tang Dynasty Poets, number 9. And this is translated by G.W. Robinson and Arthur Cooper. And then A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. And then the rest of these books I think are for specific projects. So that is also great. I feel like I'm only purchasing things that I need, even though I'm not reading everything that, I'm not getting to everything, but that's okay. So the first is The Posthumous Memoirs of Bras Cubas, and this is by Machado de Assis. And this is translated, Shirley, baby! Translated by Flora Thompson DeVoe. And this is for the Reading Latines book club. And I will try, hopefully, to remember to link all of the groups that I'm mentioning down below. So the Reading Latines, they have a little Instagram account, so I will link that below. Then I have Ecology of a Cracker Childhood by Janice Ray. I assume that's pronounced Janice, and this is for the Book Naturalists Club. And then the rest of these books, well, not all of them, but most of these are for the Invisible Cities Project. Oh my gosh, Shirley, baby, please, can you stop? Just stop. This house is like a madhouse right now. So this is actually an Egyptian book, and we're just finishing Egypt right now. So oopsies, it kind of showed up a little bit later than I think it was not available, and then it finally became available. But that is The Thief and the Dogs by Naguib Mahfouz. And this is, how annoying, this stupid sticker. translated by Trevor L. Gassick and M.M. Badawi. So I've got that there, which is just going to go in my bookcase, I guess, at this point, because now I need to focus on other stuff. And then I have one for Equatorial Guinea, which is going to be not in March, but in April. And that is By Night the Mountain Burns by Juan Tomas Avila Laurel. Translated by Jethro Sautar. And yeah, I am excited. I'm also really interested in this publisher now. That's okay. And then the rest of these books, well, not all of them. Again, I'm sorry. I have like one lingerer at the end that I will explain in a second. But the rest of these that I'm holding are for next month. So for Mexico, I have picked up Suar Juana Inés de la Cruz, translated by Edith Grossman. And this is a selection of her writings and poetry. And I have no idea who this person is. So that will be fun. And then for Libya, I have The Puppet by Ibrahim.
She's a feminist nun.
She's a feminist nun. Thanks, baby. By Ibrahim Al-Koni. What?
She's from a rich background, but she wanted to like focus on like doing like in
we should read the book together.
Academic pursuits as opposed to like living life as a society.
We should both read it and do a little review on it so you can tell all the people all of the stuff that you know. Okay. Anyways, The Puppet by Ibrahim Al-Koni, translated by William M. Hutchins. And again, this is for Libya, and it's very, very small. And then Closing His Eyes by Louay Hamza Abbas, translated by Yasmin Hanoush. And I will say both of these feel like they're print-on-demand books, like just the quality of them, which, you know, I'm not like mad about, especially this one. I feel like this is probably just, you know, but again, whatever. That's just how it's got to be because, you know, publishers are not choosing to do this. So that's just how I got to get my books. And the last one is Iraq Plus 100, Stories from a Century After the Invasion, edited by Hassan Blassim, I don't know. And this is 10 authors. And so it's looking at 100 years after the U.S. invaded Iraq. So in the year 2103 is 100 years after the invasion of, I guess it says American and British invasion. So I am really, really curious. This is like the one that I'm the most excited about, I think, out of all of those picks. And then the last one that I have is really exciting because it is a book that like I got sent a message on Instagram from like a book publicist, which never happens because hello, please, my following is not that high. Following, you know what I'm saying. I don't have a huge you know, my numbers aren't that high basically, so I don't really get like solicitations or people asking me if I want books. But this person saw that I did a review of Catch Me If You Can by, oh my gosh, I don't even remember what his name is now at this point, Frank W. Abagnale, and I loved the movie and I loved the book. And so this person was like, hey, there's this new tell-all about how maybe he was kind of a liar. So I was like, yes, I do need that. I feel like there's some, it makes me a little uncomfortable because like, what if I don't like the book and all that kind of stuff? So but my curiosity is much higher than my nervousness. So I was like, yes, please, I need that. So this is The Greatest Hoax on Earth, Catching Truth While We Can by Alan C. Logan. And it is much chunkier than I was expecting. And then there's like this little card. So it's kind of just a little like overview of all of the things that he claims that he did. And then, you know, the truths. Again, this is just written by another person, but I assume that this author has done their research and I will find out and I'll let you guys know. But I'm really, really excited about that. So anyways, those are all the books that I got in the month of February. And if you have anything to say about them, please say it in the comments. Appreciate you. Okay, so as you can see, I bought too many books and didn't read enough books, which means that I have to unhaul things. I am doing a very strict innie outie this year, okay, people? I refuse to have a TBR. There's no way I'm gonna like reduce my TBR to a reasonable amount. I mean, that would be really, really cool, but it's not gonna happen. So, you know, the first best thing or the next best thing is to just make sure it doesn't increase. So since I purchased, I think, let me see, I have my count over here somewhere. Oh my gosh, there's so many fun pages to flip around. Okay, so I bought 17 books and read 6 books, so that means I've got 11 here on my pile, so that I have a zero-sum balance at the end, and I have, you know, my little balance sheet over here. So a lot of these books fit into the category of like dusty old things I just don't want on my shelves. The first one that I have is Treasure Island by Robert, is that his name? Robert Louis Stevenson? Yeah, Robert Louis Stevenson. And this is like one of those books that I would theoretically like to own. There are illustrations in it, but I'm just not the person that has these kinds of books on their shelves. So yeah, I'm gonna just toss it. Samesies over here with this copy of Nicholas Nickleby by Charles Dickens. You know, I would like to read this book. I also think that I own another copy of Treasure Island. I don't own another copy of this, but I will eventually just buy it, and it will be in a paperback format that I like to touch and not some dusty old thing. Then I have France, The Tragic Years, an eyewitness account of war, occupation, and liberation by Cicely Huddleston. Yeah, again, dusty old book. I'm pretty sure this one's from my dad's house. There's a little bookmark in it, so someone has been reading it. No one in this household. This is from the past. Again, I'm not going to read that. I mean, not again, like the other ones I'm going to read eventually, and I care to read, but this I do not care to read. Then I have The Complete Adventures and Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. I think I got this from my dad's house as well. I don't care for Sherlock. I have read the first 2 books, which are like The Valley of Fear and The Sign of Four. The Valley of Fear might not be one of them. The Sign of Four, and then some other one. I just don't like Sherlock Holmes. I think he is just an egotistical drug addict who thinks that he is better than everyone else. And the mysteries aren't even that fun to read. Like an Agatha Christie mystery, they like put in clues while you're reading, so you can kind of like try to guess. This, there's like just an info dump at the end where he tells you, I mean this, I haven't read this, so whatever. But anyways, there's just an info dump at the end. I'm not really into it. I have 2 other ones. I have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I have another copy of it somewhere. This, again, I got this from my dad's house. So I do have that, and I am going to attempt to read it. So I have this in another format that I'm going to try to read. But my fuse with it is very short. So I'm going to, if there's anything that annoys me, I'm DNFing it and just getting rid of the other book that I have in the series that I haven't, because there's like 7, I think, books in the series. But yeah, so this is, I mean, it's a nice copy of the book. It's wow, I can't talk. A facsimile of the original 24 stories from the Strand magazine, and it is like really nice, you know, like, again, old-timey book, but ain't nobody got time. I don't want it. Then I have The Germans by Gordon A. Craig. Yeah, I don't want to read this. Jake actually wants this, though. He thinks it is a interesting item. It's also really funny because I found like an obituary of the author, I think, in here, and like some other weird stuff that I just like don't know where it came from. Wow, this is a hardcover and it costs $15.95, people. This book must be like at least from, I think that this was my grandma's book. That looks like my grandma's handwriting in there now that I'm like looking at it. It says 82, which I guess wasn't that long ago, but I'm surprised that the hardcover costs only $15.95. That's nice. Then same old, just why keep this? John Updike's The Witches of Eastwick. And again, I am going to probably try to read this in the future, just not anytime soon, and not this dusty old thing that I'm touching. Then I have The Grandeur That Was Rome by J.C. Stobart. Just, again, more dusty old things. This, oh, it's got a date in here, 24/6/73. Like the person that, you know, owned the book, they wrote their name and the date. I just don't care. I just don't care. Then I have See, I'm like getting all, I can see all the dust particles floating around. Love and the English by Nina Epton. Again, I'm pretty sure when I unhauled these in February, these have been sitting around for me to show you what I am unhauling. I can smell the books and I'm just too sensitive, people. I just, again, just don't care. Maybe it's fun, I don't know. Then I've got 2 books that I got I was subscribed to the Book Riot box, which is hilarious. I don't know why I ever thought that was a good idea, because I am not their target audience. So I was subscribed to the Book Riot, book box, and so I've got both of these in that box, and I have no interest. These both look like some kind of YA coming of age thing that I'm just like not interested in. Bright Lines by Tanwi Nandini Islam, and Dryland by Sarah Jaffe? Joff? Who knows? I just don't care. I have no interest in reading books that look like this on the cover. I am a little bit judgmental. Okay, so this video, again, I can tell it's gonna be super, super long. So let me just kind of show you, I guess, my bullet journal. Actually, I'm not gonna show you my bullet journal because there's nothing, I'm not proud. I mean, it looks fine, but there's nothing like super exciting. Oh, I will say that it was dumpling week though, and Jake made us these, well, the dumpling week people make the passport, and so he printed it out though and like added cute little pictures of the 2 of us as little dumplings, which I love. So we went to quite a few of them. It's my favorite week of the whole year. I love eating dumplings so much. So that's pretty much it. I've got my, my how many pages I read. I read 1,539 pages in the month of February, which is acceptable. And then I think I showed you guys already my balance. I ended up at a net of 0 because I DNF'd a bunch of things. So that is fun. And that's all I have to say about that. I did not meet my goals in February, but do I ever meet them? No. Okay, so let's talk about the movies. So I'm gonna talk about 6 movies that I watched, and I'm just gonna do them in order that I watched them. So on our anniversary, Jake and I, because we were supposed to get married on February 6th of 2021 that just passed. So we decided to watch a bunch of wedding related movies for our anniversary, just to rub it in our faces that we weren't able to do it. And one of them is Very Bad Things, which is a movie that I really, really love. And I was really happy to make Jake watch it. It is ridiculous. It is about a group of men that I think they go to Vegas for the bachelor party right before the wedding. So this is like back in the times, I think now it's changed, where people do like the bachelorette party kind of whenever they want to, but in, the 90s and early aughts, I would say, maybe even prior to that, it was always like right before the wedding, like the day before the wedding or like the weekend before the wedding or something. So it's like a little bit more tense because you need to like get back on time for the wedding. So these people go to Vegas, and it has Christian Slater, Cameron Diaz, Jeremy Piven, one of the guys from like, I forget. He looks familiar. I think he's like one of the guys from the what's that movie? Home Alone movie maybe, or he's the guy from Ghostbusters. They look the same to me, so I can't tell which one he is. But anyways, and maybe that other guy too. The guy that I get confused with Jeremy Piven. It doesn't matter. The point is that they go on a trip to Vegas, and very, very, very bad things happen. Like, so many bad things happen. If you're not okay with people murdering people, spoiler alert, don't watch this movie. These people are terrible, and it's so much fun. I love it so much. I have like I like these kinds of movies. I just think it's so funny. They're so bad. It's so good. And then another movie that I really, really liked was Let the Bullets Fly, which I already talked about in my my China wrap up. If you can tell, I'm trying to get you to watch it if you haven't watched it. So I will leave that linked below, but it is a beautiful like Chinese Western movie with like just gorgeous cinematography. Oh, and I'll link trailers for all these movies down below too. So then what? Oh my gosh. Then we watched, for our movie marathon, Da 5 Bloods, which is the newer Spike Lee movie. And you guys, this Spike Lee is just an absolute genius. He's a genius. It was so good. It's about oh gosh, I think there's 4 of them, four vets from Vietnam that go back to Vietnam to find their like fallen brother or whatever. So like there's 5 of them that were like in this kind of, I don't know what they're called. It's not a crew. When you're in the military, you like are part of a team or something, and you're all together. And so they were all together, and one of their people died. And so they're in Vietnam because they want to pick up his remains and bring them back to the States. And that's all I'm going to tell you about like the plot, I guess, because I think that like as it unfolds, like you find out what happens pretty quickly, or like what's going to happen pretty quickly. And it's just, I think, fantastic. It's so good. All of them do such a good job acting. It like the commentary. Spike Lee, again, I'm gonna put him up there with like having one of the most brilliant brains on the planet at the moment. Like he is just these people that can like put together so much thought and like analysis, but also make things like, you know, entertaining. It's just incredible to me. So I loved it. I need to rewatch it because I was in the group and I don't think that Jake watched the whole thing, so I'd like us to rewatch it. And then we also watched Sorry to Bother You, which I have seen before, and it was less upsetting this time than it was the first time, I think, because I knew what was coming, because this movie is another brilliant commentary on like class and race and just everything. So good. We're following a young guy, he's like my age, which I guess I'm a young lady. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, he's a guy that, you know, lives in his uncle's garage, and he gets a job at a telemarketing company, and then he, you know, starts to be really, really good at his job, and then really bad things happen. And I think it's just, you know, so brilliant. And Stephen Yeun is in it, and Tessa Thompson is in it. I love the 2 of them so much. The main guy too. I should know his name because he has been in a lot of stuff, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. And then the other movie that I watched this month in February that I really, really liked is Josie and the Pussycats. There was a what's it called? A interview, or like a, you know, Q&A interview kind of thing with the directors. They did Can't Hardly Wait and Josie and the Pussycats, which are both like just stupendous. So I watched both of the movies in preparation for it. And I do like Can't Hardly Wait too, but Josie and the Pussycats is like one of my all-time favorite movies. It's so, so brilliant. Again, just talking about consumerism and capitalism and like how just everything is working to like get us to buy things. And yeah, I just loved it. So those are all of the things. Comment below if you would like to enter my giveaway for Ai Weiwei Yours Truly. Hopefully, I guess I should have checked to make sure that it's like still in print and still available. I'll do that right now, and if it isn't and you enter, then I will let you know in the comment what the second book is that I would be giving away. But anyways, yeah, let me know if you have read any of these or watched any of these, or if you have anything to say. Hopefully this video isn't too long. We'll see. Goodbye.